What's up guys? I'm back. I was sick last week, which is actually going to tie into this video. That's why I look really tired. But what I'm going to talk about today is self-sabotage, inertia, and then energy producing energy. And it's all going to kind of tie into, because I've had a bit of a realization when I got really sick, sort of towards the end of January. I had like nearly a week and a half off work, like just feeling pretty rough. And it all started with a few things. So look, I've actually made some notes this time, okay? So I'm trying to be a bit more organized, to get my thoughts more clear. I think this is going to be quite a solid video, so I'm excited to make this. But we've all been there, okay? So the reason I make these videos, as I've said before, is because I was once, and sort of still am to a degree, an individual who was in a spot that he didn't like, and watched a lot of content and followed people's journeys, and it helped me get out of the spot I'm in. And as always, that is why I'm doing this, because people helped me in my life, things like this helped me, and I feel like if I can provide even a little bit of help to someone, that's a big win for me, and I just find it fun. Okay, so self-sabotage is a word that gets thrown around a lot. You know, it's like, why do we bring ourselves down? Why do we start to go backwards when we gain some momentum? Why can't we keep momentum forever? All these sort of different things. And Charlie, my boss, has an interesting take on this, that it doesn't exist. And it sort of comes from these like shadow selves, and you have to appease these shadow selves and things like that. And I have talked about this a little bit before, but what I want to talk about today is how the sabotaging, or the kind of backwards trajectory starts, and what that looks like, how to identify it, and how to stop it. Because that's something I found. So here's a little story. January this year, came hot out of the gate at Easy Grow, closing really, really well, and right at the top of the leaderboard, winning bonuses, etc. I decided to take the first Monday of Feb off and just have a bit of a chill. We switched our working hours, and I'm working a lot later now to accommodate for US calls. So I decided to take Monday off. And I took Monday off, chilled for 3 days over the weekend and Monday, and everything seemed okay. But then Tuesday, Wednesday, I was feeling a little bit off. Things weren't quite right. I wasn't as on the ball as I was in the previous month. And I immediately identified that I was self-sabotaging. Now, come Thursday, I got really, really sick, and then that's a whole different story. But these 2 days were crazy for me in terms of the identification I made about my behaviors. So why do we self-sabotage, or why do we go backwards once we gain momentum moving forward? Is because I almost felt like I deserved a day off, or I needed it. But I don't think that was the case, and this is going to come back to that rule of inertia that I want to talk about today, is because, objects at rest will stay at rest. Objects in motion will stay in motion. I should have just stayed in motion, okay, for 3 months, where I had enough time to gain, a lot of momentum and a lot of kind of consistency with my thing. But I decided to, act in a way and create inertia against the momentum I had, because I almost wanted to reward myself for my work, but I should have been chasing more and kept the momentum. So the initial triggers happen. And for me, unfortunately, I do my very, very best to not watch porn. I will go months, if not years, without watching it. But for some reason, I decided on that Monday, I was like, why not? It's been a while. And then it was Tuesday, then Wednesday. And I was like, what? And then, that Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I didn't journal, okay? I didn't journal, I slept in, and I watched porn. And for me, those are sort of my 3 triggers, okay? If I'm not journaling, if I'm snoozing my alarm and I'm getting on the internet and watching something I shouldn't be, those are my triggers. And then immediately I was taking less calls, I wasn't having as much fun on the calls, and my energy was down. And I didn't even realize that it happened. It just happened so quick, because I was I can have a week that's not as good as the one before. But I'm acting against the momentum I've already got. And the energy I already had, I slowed that down for myself, which is really counterproductive, obviously. I should have just kept the momentum and kept going. So those are the initial triggers. So the first actionable step I want to say today is identify your initial triggers. What are the things that you do that you don't necessarily want to do, but you do them as almost a reward, that aren't very productive and not really that rewarding? Sleeping in, watching porn, I was watching more YouTube, not journaling. These are not things that I want to be doing. They're just things that I've always fall back on from my previous sort of lifestyle. So identify your triggers. And then you can kind of start to identify the spiral, because as soon as you do those things, you can kind of tell that I'm about to spiral into X, Y, and Z. So how do we stop them? Well, I was sick, kind of got over that. That was a little bit unfortunate, but I had a lot of time to think because I wasn't doing anything. So I figured out how to stop them. So for journaling, for example, simple. Alex Hormozi talks about watering holes. So every single morning I make a coffee. Cool. I put my journal next to my coffee machine. So simple. I put my vitamins. For some reason, all my stuff was spread around the house. My journal was in the living room, or I was doing it on my computer, and then my vitamins were in a different drawer, and I was forgetting. It's like, just make it easy for you to do the right things. Put my journal, my vitamins, and my coffee all in the same pace, and my collagen. Perfect. That's 4 habits that I want to, stick to, all done within 5 minutes, plus the journaling. Cool. What was the other one? I don't really want to be watching YouTube during the week or during working hours. Charlie, hope you don't watch this, but every now and then if I have a free slot, I jump on YouTube when I'm in a bit of a rut. Block YouTube with the blocking app. It's just so simple, Same on the weekends. I don't really want to be doing this. If I want to sit down and watch a movie, that is okay, but I always have this word intentionality. When I'm sabotaging, I'm not living intentionally. So that was another thing, block YouTube. Okay, and then obviously block any sort of naughty websites on the internet, right? It's just simple things. And if I do ever go to type it in and I get that block website come up, immediately my brain is like, oh yeah, what am I doing? Because, you know what it's like, you just kind of go after the thing and you end up scrolling on the internet for 3 hours and you don't know what you've just done. So it's just organizing things in a way that make it easy for you to stick to the things you want to stick to keep the momentum. That's really the thing I've realized. So why is momentum important? Going back to the rule of inertia, which is a law of physics. Objects at rest will stay in rest, or objects in motion will stay in motion unless they are acted upon by an external force. So, why is it hard to, start 3 hours of deep work? Why is the initial part of the sales call always kind of annoying? Once you get into it, you're having fun, but the more energy it requires to start the thing, the harder it will be for you to want to start the thing. So I'm just reducing the inertia of every activity, okay? So I've got my day planned a lot better now. I had this camera set up before I left for my Spanish lesson today. You know what I mean? It's I'm just, the night before I'm setting out my clothes, the night before I'm organizing my next day. It's removing the inertia as much as possible to start the activities. And then when I've identified I've got some momentum, basically doing whatever I can to stop things influencing that and slowing that momentum, right? So not taking a day off, because let's be honest, I don't need it. I'm young, I'm 26, I got more energy than ever. Maybe not taking a day off, but maybe, after a few months, then taking a longer holiday. Because then on the holiday as well, you've got relaxed momentum, right? So if I take a day off and then I have to get started, you don't really get the benefits of either. You're kind of just selling yourself short. Okay, so identifying your triggers, organizing your life to make it as easy as possible to avoid them, and then understanding the rule of inertia. So when you don't have momentum, you have to understand that it's going to be harder to start it, but once you get it, it will be easier to continue. The last one is, the feeling of tiredness comes from lack of action, in my opinion. I heard this quote once where it's you'll get the energy to do the thing when you start doing the thing. It kind of comes back to this inertia thing, but when I was sick, so this is where I thought of this. So when I was sick, obviously I was sick, but I had a few days towards the end where I still wasn't working and I felt really, really tired, but I don't think I was tired. I think I was just not doing anything. Your body almost adapts to the situation that it's in, the environment that it's in. Same with the weekend. If I do nothing all weekend, I might come back to work on Monday and be kind of tired because that's where my sort of homeostasis is now. And if you're watching this, we're all young, more likely. So, I've got the energy. If I wake up and as long as I just get out of bed straight away, start my day, I will have the energy once I start doing the thing. So doing the journaling or going for the walk or going to the gym and then starting my work day, not fucking around during the day, watching the mastermind, creating content, all this sort of stuff, I will naturally produce the energy needed to continue those tasks. Because that's kind of how it works. It's not like you've got a body of energy that we are kind of like a battery, but we're more like a generator. We're not a battery, we're a generator. So we're not just a battery that needs to be plugged into a wall to recharge. We're a generator, we're like a motor. We're constantly refueling and going and keeping our energy levels above a point to, maintain progress. It's not like you do a bunch of tasks, you fully deplete yourself and then you kind of recharge and start again. It's no, you kind of continue to generate energy as you go, and the more tasks you do, the more energy your body will kind of produce. It's when you're at the gym and you've got a harder set to do, it's not like if you do that set you're completely fucked for the rest of the day. You recover, reproduce energy, and then you can do another set. It's just the exact same thing in life, which is why I think the gym is great. So those are some really important things. I feel like if you're struggling right now, if you can just identify your triggers, make it a lot easier to avoid them, and then understand that it's easier to stay consistent with something than go really really hard, then stop, then really, really hard, then stop, I think it will be easier for you to kind of grow and hit the goals that you want to hit. And obviously that's always the most important thing, and why these videos are fun to make, because I feel like potentially this might help someone achieve their goals. So yeah, that was the video for today. I hope that helped, and I will see you guys on the next one.